A climate devastated by beings, biomes, no consideration to tropical or cold. Symbiosis, from microbial-prone bobtail squids to the beauty, the whim, the fantastical. Quite a lot can be seen even on the surface of galaxies. Olive, fern, and pine pastures that adorn, inventive, articulated, and grand blocks that blanket, rural, historical, and heritage homes that ornament. Let's dive out and away to flip our sights. But now, here in 2023, fossil fuels, coal, natural gases and all are recognized to be unsustainable nor green. Yet as we zoom in or out and observe and not just see, Equinor, a fuel supplier, here it states, "Oh, profits, profits, money," grumbles it. 62 billion pounds we reap. As a part of this earth, we can all bandage these bleeding wounds, and then our voices will rise for lasting impacts to ensue. A climate devastated by beings. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Audrey, and that is a poem I wrote by myself as a 12-year-old girl who is merely the youngest in her class, who wants to make a change in the society towards an issue that isn't talked about enough despite its presence here right now in this world, even as you're listening to me. It's climate justice and change. And it's an issue that needs to be addressed now, and you can change yourself, even here, as long as you start. So, some of you might have heard of this before: climate change, polar bears, icebergs melting. Or some of you might have done your own research and found out a little more about what it is about. Or maybe some of you have no idea at all. Well, climate change, put simply, is the continuous warming of our planet. According to the International Panel of Climate Change, this Earth is headed towards 3.2 degrees global warming by the end of the century if we don't act now. Current goals set us towards a 1.5 degrees point of warming, but that just means that action needs to be taken quicker, even as things are not moving as fast as they need to be now. For example, in 2022, the mountainous Pakistan was flooded. According to UNICEF, the United Nations International Charity for Children, 4 million of the 10 million children are still displaced from the flood, and 15 million of the citizens are struggling to look for food, the basic need for humanity. Also, let me elaborate on the idea of polar bears. 31,000 or less of polar bears still exist on this earth, which ranks it as vulnerable on the scale of the Worldwide Fund for Nature, or WWF, which is extremely concerning for a species that runs the ecosystem of Antarctica. So, this is happening now, today, as you're listening to me, as you're sitting here. This is happening now, and you can make a change as long as you care, because this earth is the planet that we live on. And honestly, just be the changes that are in your lifestyles, just a little bit by little bit. For example, you can use your social media platform. In the age of the internet, it's easy to use the social media. So you can just simply use your platform to talk about climate change and speak out about it to raise awareness because it reaches such a wide audience. For example, a Jamaican activist, Michaela Loach, she speaks out on her Instagram page about climate change, and she creates posts where people can interact and form their own communities locally to help combat this issue. She also wrote a book, and that also spreads the message to all the readers that climate change is a pressing issue. You can hop onto your social media platform now, and you will be able to spread the message that climate change is happening now, and the little changes you can make in your daily lives to make it all the more manageable and to solve this issue. Another thing you can do as a local community is to build a garden. Gardens are beautiful. They help purify the air with the oxygen that the plants release and the carbon dioxide that they absorb, and they look wonderful. The greenery in your school, in your backyard, anywhere really, or in parks even, they look brilliant with the environment, and it's a great break from all the buildings around. It's simple to create a garden. You just have to do a little experimentation, and you just have to have a little passion, and then you'll be able to build your own garden, which can impact your community greatly. And it is it's a fun thing to do with your community, to help you share a bond that you care about this issue. And lastly, the simplest, start in your own homes. Everyone can do the smallest changes, and you'll be able to create the most profound impacts. You can just swap out your usual residual waste bin to a recycling system. You can have hazardous waste, and then you can have food waste, recycled items, and the residual waste. This way, it can reduce the amount of waste that you produce every day, which, unsurprisingly, is a lot. Landfills exist to help contain the trash, but it's going to run out soon, and it has already been proven by a study that showed that 31,000 tons of trash are thrown away every single day by the citizens of Hong Kong. So as long as you take a little more time to think where your trash goes, you can make a huge impact. And collectively as a community, it can help change this issue. So why not start now? Why not just make these little changes in order to help create a more profound impact on this issue that needs to be addressed? Just go home, start small, and build a community that cares. Climate justice has to happen in order to solve this world issue. It's simple. Start small. You can do it. Thank you.